Wonder if anybody remembers this show from Nickelodeon called Turkey TV. Hi there. Welcome, everybody, to Cast Iron Wednesday here on this week before Thanksgiving. And welcome once again to my kitchen. It's always a pleasure having you folks here. I'm very honored that you decided to drop by tonight. And thank you again, because Cast Iron Wednesday, of course, is a tradition that many YouTube cooking channels have been doing, although most of them don't do a live video like I'm foolish enough to do. Yes, because, every Wednesday we've been doing a live video here for almost the past, a little more than the past 4 years, in fact. Getting this, just having an excuse to play with cast iron, try new things, and of course, prepare for the holidays, which is in fact what's happening now. Yes, Thanksgiving is indeed 1 week from tomorrow, and the preparations are underway, at least for those of us who care about Thanksgiving, because, it seems like the only businesses that care about Thanksgiving these days are supermarkets, and that's about it. But no, I mean, those of us who certainly cook, really know that, we've got a big day coming. And that's one reason why I was hoping to do a turkey tonight, just to get my practice in, even though this is going to be my second turkey so far this year. And also to give everybody here a week's advance to talk turkey, to let's see what we can do about cooking a turkey in cast iron. Folks here, I mean, I'm encouraging everybody really to talk turkey, to talk about how you cook a turkey, your turkey cooking experiences, and share tips and tricks. Because one thing, there are three major rules I've learned really when it comes to cooking a turkey in cast iron, and I'll get back to that in a moment. Because hello to everybody who has been kind enough to show up here. Hello to BuzzFork8. My understanding is your pan has an ETA of this coming Friday, unless it's delivered early. Hello to Cynthia Wesley and Val's Black Cats Rule and Rick Stumbaugh and Greg Hart, Radagast and Flash 1499, Calamity Jane, Rocket Caver, and all the other folks who have chosen to tune in tonight. We've got 38 people watching so far, so that's not a bad start. And hello, and hello, Honey Badger. Well, yeah, I know all too well what it's like when problems happen with the live. I believe one happened just a couple of weeks ago when I accidentally tripped over the mic cord, and I certainly have no intention of doing that again, and hopefully it won't happen again. So yes, Dana made Radagast. Dana made turkey soup tonight, and I made biscuits. And we are going to be going. Oh, anyone else hearing the audio breakup? Okay, well, that's the first I'm hearing here, Bets. I do hope the audio sounds okay. Greg Hart says it's all right. So it might very well be the internet connection, unfortunately, but hopefully not. But yes, indeed, no audio is okay. Oh, yeah, right. And audio fine here. Hello, Clico, as well. And hello to everybody, because yes, indeed, we are, as I said, we're doing a turkey tonight. I've seemed to have been doing a turkey, about 3 turkeys per year for at least the last 10 years. So at least, if nothing else, I think I can say I've had some practice, even though something funny happened, because I cooked my first turkey of the season last week, in fact, just after this time. And I admit I burnt it. I burnt the outer skin of the turkey. And I was a little surprised about that, but it did indeed come out with the skin a little bit more charred than I would have liked. The inside, however, did turn out to be okay. And I've been pondering exactly what happened. And then I realized something. For me, at least, this year is my first time roasting a whole turkey in my new gas oven. I moved here in 2022. And in Thanksgiving of 2022, I was planning on being modest and doing a turkey breast, and then it turned into a whole turkey dinner. Whereas last year, I did have guests over for Thanksgiving, but in that one, I cut up the turkey into pieces and roast the individual pieces. So Even though this is going to be my third Thanksgiving here in my home, this is my first time roasting a turkey here in my new home, and I realized all that practice I've been getting roasting a turkey has been in an electric oven as opposed to a gas oven. So I do have a little bit of a learning curve. Okay, so yes, they're saying tomorrow the skillet will get there. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Fuzz Fork, as well. Cooling down in the metro Atlanta. Yeah, we're talking about the first snow of the season ourselves just tomorrow. So, well, anyway, I've been prepping for that. Rain starting here, wind coming up too. Okay, but yeah, as I mentioned, I made a mistake cooking my turkey last week, and hopefully that's not going to happen again tonight. And I think I know what I did wrong, and I'm going to, of course, do my best to avoid that. But that, of course, means we've got to get started on a turkey. So here it is, right over here in this container. I've had this turkey in the brine for since for about the past 24 hours, in fact. Oh, yes. Thank goodness I got this plastic bag too. So, yes, we've had this thing brining, and now it's time to get this out of the brine and start working on getting it seasoned to go into the oven. That also means I've got to get something out of the fridge here. Excuse me, I should have taken this out a minute ago. Okay, but there we are. Because I prepared a simple herb butter to go into the turkey, and that's the thing. I mentioned that I've learned 3 important lessons on cooking a turkey, and those 3 lessons are: number 1, it is almost impossible to screw up a turkey. Turkey is actually very easy to cook. It's a very forgiving bird, and that might be one reason why it's so popular around Thanksgiving. Of course, all of the attention, all of the hype that goes into cooking a turkey, that of course, means there's this mystique about making turkey. But those of you who have had any experience at all with cooking a turkey, you realize that you do just about anything to cook your turkey, and almost always it will turn out great, unless you cooked it at too high a temperature like I did last week. But yes, I mean, it is that's one reason why there are 1,000 tips and tricks here for cooking a turkey. Like flipping the bird over, or putting it in feet first, or starting with a blast of heat and then turning the heat down, or starting at a low heat and then giving it a blast of heat, or using a certain spice combination, or only using an organic turkey, which I personally disagree with. But there are any number of tricks here, and just about all of them will work. That's only because this is the real rule number 1 of cooking a turkey. And I said this last week as well. And now, especially since I'm doing a turkey right now, you're going to be hearing me saying this again and again and again. You want to get yourself a good turkey, there is one ironclad rule that you need to do. Use a cooking thermometer. I mean, I can repeat this probably until the sun goes out, and maybe I will, but this is the lesson I've learned from practicing my turkeys over the past 10 years or more. And that is that do not ignore those instructions, the ones that say to cook your turkey for 18 minutes per pound, or cook your turkey at 350 degrees for 3 hours, or anything like that. Because there's one reason why those instructions do not work. Those instructions were not written for your oven. I'm talking about you, anybody at all watching and hearing this. Your oven is different from everybody else's oven. And for that matter, no 2 turkeys are alike either. I mean, my oven is not the same as your oven. My oven is not the same as Gordon Ramsay's oven, or who knows what. And that every oven is different. And because of this, they can cook, any number of ovens can cook a turkey at a different rate. Which is what I found out when I tried cooking my turkey in a gas oven just last week. So what that really means is you absolutely have to use a thermometer, and it doesn't have to be an expensive one either. If you've never used a cooking thermometer, now is a good time to do so, because hey, it's Thanksgiving. you want to make yourself a turkey, right? And you want to make one that your guests and your family will never forget, right? Well, then the one thing secret you need is a cooking thermometer. These things are not expensive. I think this particular one here came from Walmart, in fact, and it cost something like, oh, I don't know, $15 maybe. So yes, I can go on and on about that, but do you put the probe in the thigh? Asks Val's Black Cat's Rules. Well, my method that I've kind of developed, I put my probe in the breast, and that's the reason why I do it that way is because I've got one additional rule. I said there are 3 rules, and this is the rule that everybody is expecting because you've seen my videos already. Cook it in cast iron. And this is why I do this a little different from most of those recipes they have these days. You know, the ones that tell you, get yourself a special turkey roasting pan. You know, that thing with the elevated rack so that it elevates the turkey and it can aerate it and have airflow up and above and below the turkey, right? And of course, nobody ever uses that particular dish for anything other than the Thanksgiving turkey. It sits there for the rest of the year and you pull it out and you use it once per year. But not here, not in this kitchen, and I dare say with a number of you folks as well, we cook our turkey in cast iron. And what that means is we put the turkey right into the hot cast iron pan. And that helps to give additional heating and cooking to the dark meat so that the dark meat will cook at a faster rate than the white meat. Okay, we're 12 minutes in and I'm still talking. I think I should really actually get down to doing something, don't you? Yeah, smoke the turkey low and slow over cherry wood. Hey, that all sounds good too, Cast Iron Fanatic. Why not? And that's the last thing I'll do before I shut up and start working. You can cook your turkey any way you want. You can smoke it, you can deep fry it, you can roast it, you can air fry it if there's an air fryer big enough. Yeah, you could do whatever you want with your turkey because, as I said before, it's almost impossible to screw up a turkey, except that I did last week. Okay, and having said all that, let's do something, shall we? Okay, for starters, got to move over to the sink here. I get to pull this and move this, loosen this. There we go. Over to the sink because it's time to get this turkey out of the bag. Tighten this. There we go. Here we are at last. Ugh. As I said, here is the turkey here in this bag o' brine. And if you've seen my recipe, which I have linked on my site, actually, let me move the microphone over. If you've seen my recipe on my site, you know that I use a buttered milk or actually a curdled milk brine because it's easy to make. And for me, at least, it works. All right, enough with the chit chat. Let's dump this thing out. Ugh. There we go. Rest this to the side because we're done using that. And let's also put my ring away because I'm going to be getting my hands dirty. Now, here we go. Let us expose a naked turkey, shall we? And there we go. There goes the brine. Here is the turkey. Yay! Boy, doesn't this look appetizing. All right, don't worry, my sink is clean, so all we have is brine residue right now. I'm just using cold water. Yeah, I know, that doesn't help if I'm putting it back in the brine, does it? All right. There we go. All I'm doing is giving it a quick rinse anyway. Largely to get rid of the brine solution more than anything else because, you know, it's a salty brine solution. And my particular brine is not that salty either. All right, that means let's get this bird over and start working on it. Put it over here. Dry my hands off. move the camera over and the microphone. And yay. Here is our turkey, ready for us to do things to. Boy, am I being pleasant or what? Okay, anyway, what I first should do is get a couple more paper towels and pat dry it. We do not have to get this thing bone dry, fortunately. Actually, what I probably should do is do the bottom side first, so that I'll only have to flip this thing over once. And all we really need to do, as I said, it does not have to be bone dry, just enough so that it doesn't soak my hands. So this is not really going to be that difficult. At least not the underside. Let's get this here, dry off under his armpits. And now here's the part where we torture the turkey and fold the wings back. One, and there's two. And even that wasn't so hard, was it? And by the way, yes, I am using this sheet pan here rather than a cutting board because, as you can see, this thing still is dripping some of the brine out. So that's pretty much inevitable. In fact, hopefully I can do this without dropping the turkey. Let me drain a little bit more of this brine back into the sink. Do this carefully. There we go. That wasn't so hard. There wasn't too much of it there anyway. All right. Now we get to flip it over one more time. Pat dry the top. And here's the part where we do naughty things to the turkey. Yeah, there are so many jokes about sticking your limbs and body parts into the turkey. I know. We are adults here, right? We're not going to use crude humor, right? Despite the fact that I've had more than one of these turkey videos flagged for porn. Seeing me shoving my hand into the cavity of this naked bird and all that. But yeah, that's about as far as I'm going to go. I'm not going to be too crude. Save that for some other time. Anyway, that wasn't too hard at all. Let's throw these extra towels out. Now comes the part that they talk about. Oh dear, it looks like I might have torn the skin. Well, I'm just going to have to be careful. Okay, let us start getting our hands under the skin. There we are. And carefully maneuver it around so that we get a nice big gap underneath here. Likewise on the other side. I try not to separate the skin around the actual breastbone. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That still wasn't so hard. And maybe if I can, try to separate a little bit around here. And a little bit more carefully around this way. There we go. Now that we've done that, now it's time to really get my hands dirty. Actually, let me check a couple of comments first. My son is watching and he has his eyebrows raised. Yes, indeed. I'm sure this is going to be quite an education, Louis. Stay indoors. And yeah, I heard it looks bad on the news. Oh, okay. Is that scary? Oh, I see. You're not talking about the turkey. I guess you're talking about the weather. Okay, good. I was afraid. I was maybe saying things that might have been too naughty for your son. Okay, in the South, we make giblet gravy and put it on the stuffing. Well, that's what we're going to be doing after this goes into the oven. Yeah, you've got me under your skin. Cute. Yeah, actually, we are going to be doing some giblet gravy tonight as well. Oops, careful there. All right, but now that we've gone this far, it's time now to start simply smearing our herb butter. And this is just no more than some softened butter, regular butter that I mixed in. I softened it and mixed in some basic seasonings, which is really no more than sage, thyme, rosemary, a little bit of smoked paprika for color, and just a little bit of salt. You don't need too much because this has been in a salty brine as well. But now's the part where we start shoving this lovely herb butter carefully underneath the skin. This, of course, will help to flavor the turkey as well as helping to keep it moist. Actually, that's what the brine, that's one of the great things about the brine. I mean, here's the thing. Why do we brine the turkey? Well, it does make the turkey more moist. You do not absolutely have to brine the turkey, but it helps. The other thing, a nice thing about the brine is when this is in the oven, we can pretty much set it and forget it. We will not have to open the oven every half hour or so and baste it because there's enough liquid in the turkey that it will not dry out, especially, and here we go again, especially if we cook it to the right temperature. See, I'm saying it again. That's the thing. Yeah, I know I've heard many people say they don't like turkey because it's always too dry. You know why the turkey gets so dry? Because it's overcooked. If you got the point where where the white meat is just, just that, it's just simply dry and tasteless and crumbly, it's overcooked. Likewise with the dark meat. I mean, I know we all like dark meat that just falls off the bone, but especially when I first started, I'm smearing it all over it now. Especially when I first started cooking turkeys, my first one I remember I made, I overcooked that turkey to the point where could not even take it out of the cast iron pan. The whole thing just plain fell apart as I was trying to lift it. I had way overcooked that turkey because I had not learned yet the secret of cooking to temperature. Yeah, see, I'm saying it again. If I'm By the time this live video ends, you're probably going to want to smack me or take a drink every time I say cook to temperature, which is fine. I mean, hopefully, if I at least, get the point across, which is what I'm really trying to do more than anything else. Why am I? Because it works. Because that is what keeps your turkey from drying out. That's what gives you some nice, juicy white meat by cooking your turkey to the right temperature. And as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, that's one reason why I'm going to be cooking this in a hot cast iron pan. My pan, by the way, I already have a big cast iron pan preheating in the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. It's already reached the right temperature. It's only a matter of simply putting this bird into that hot pan. And it is really as simple as that. I mean, you don't even need to add extra liquid to the pan or anything like that. I'm literally just going to drop this turkey into that hot pan, stick the thermometer in, and roast it. That's how easy it is. All right, just trying to use up as much of this butter as possible. And as you can see, I'm doing it one-handed as well. That's how easy this is. I think we're almost done at this point. Whoops. I can see I needed to get a little more over here. Oh, yeah. So anyway, yeah. I have yet another turkey in the freezer that I'm going to start thawing out probably tomorrow night because that one is a 23-pound turkey. I'm going to be cooking that for friends and family. And when I initially went and got this turkey, in fact, this is a 16-pound turkey. And I was told by my friend that's not big enough. So I went and got a 23-pound turkey, and that's going to be my first time as well cooking a turkey that large. However, as far as I know, as long as I cook that turkey using a thermometer, there should not be any difficulty. But bam, there we are. Just like that. Let me try to get the last bit of this butter. No reason not to waste, no reason to not to use it. And with that, I think we are done, which means now I've got to wash my hands. And since this is butter, means I'm going to have to use soap. So give me a second, please, to just that soap up and rinse my hands here. Go as fast as I can. All right. There we go. That's better. My hands feel better now. All right. Hands definitely feel much better now. Let's see here with the comments. Alphabet cookies in a John Wright pan. Well, that sounds good too. And is somebody buffering? Oh, I hope not. Seems like it only happens to me and you. I see. Okay. And I apologize if you're having trouble. As far as I know, I'm sorry to say, I don't think my feed is having a problem here. That must be an experiment. Huh. Have you tried the wild turkey liquor? Can't say that I have. I do the white meat at 131 and the dark at 150. That sounds low. So that must be the first part of cooking, and that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. Gonna be doing this in 2 parts anyway. Let's see here. 750. I'm talking about the stream he's watching. Oh, I see. His humor is as silly as mine. Okay, well that's good. Long as I'm not offending anyone, Louis. However, we have gotten to the point now where at last, and it's been 30 minutes already, time to break out the cast iron. That means we can move this over here. Oh, right. Trivet over, my bad. And get out a bigger trivet. A bigger trivet is necessary because, once again, I think some of you folks know what cast iron pan we're about to be using here tonight. You know, as I've said enough times, I consider this to be the world's greatest turkey roasting pan, as well as the world's greatest pizza pan. And I've used this cast iron pan so much that I've given him a name. And you called it Radagast. Here comes Stumpy. Here's good old Stumpy. And Stumpy here has been heated up to 450 degrees. He is hot and smoking, which means no time like the present to just simply take this bird and shove it, or drop it at least, which means here we go. Whoa. That was fun. All right. Actually, I'm not sure this bird is centered. I think I might have to adjust it carefully. Oh, that's not bad. Oh, I got a little bit of more butter on my hands, but that's okay. All right, anyway, that means one last thing here before we get this bird into the oven. And that is, as I've said already, the probe thermometer. So we have to carefully insert this into the breast. Have to get it nice and deep and not touch any bones. Now that we've done that, time to get over to the oven. The oven right now, by the way, is still set at 450, but that's going to change as soon as this bird goes into the oven. All right. Means, eating that, in fact. Okay, here goes nothing. Move this over to the stove. While we're at it, let's plug in the other part of the thermometer here. I kept the thermometer separate just so that this thing doesn't fall out or anything like that. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. And now at last, no more talking. In goes the bird to this hot, hot oven. And a 1, a 2. Watch this cord. I have to turn it over this way. A 3. Ugh. Now that we've done that, we've got 2 things we need to do. One is try to get a better view here because I need to turn the oven temperature down to 275 degrees. Turn that down right now. Okay. Not sure if the microphone caught that. I've just turned the oven temperature down to 275 degrees. And the other thing, now that we've done that, is set the thermometer. So I'm going to set this thermometer to 140 degrees. And currently it's only at 37 degrees, so it's going to take a while. There we go. 140 degrees. Sorry. Okay. The other thing I have to do is keep an eye on this temperature here. If it looks like the temperature of the bird is going up too fast, then I probably have to reinsert the probe thermometer because that means that the probe thermometer is not properly inserted. It might be touching something and it might be warming up too fast because it's already jumped from 37 to 39. Then again, it is in a hot oven, so I think we'll find out in another few minutes or so. Anyway, we've got this set to 140 degrees. And the reason why we have it so low is because at 140 degrees, it's not going to be done yet. As I said, I have this thing roasting at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's going to be more or less slow cooking. Once it reaches 140 degrees, I will turn the temperature up. And here's where I think I made a mistake last night. 1 second. Meanwhile, I'm turning on the burners on this other pan here, and we'll get to that in a moment. Okay. A little bit more talking, and then I think I'll be done talking for the moment. As I said, last week I burned the turkey, or more specifically, I scorched the skin and blackened it too much. And here's what I think I did wrong. I did everything last week that I did tonight. I used an herb butter, smeared it all over the skin. And that was probably my mistake. I put this in a gas oven, baked it or roasted it to 140 degrees. And at that point, I turned the oven temperature up to 425 degrees. And that was probably too hot, way past the smoke point of butter. So most likely I burnt the butter that way. So that simply means that this time when it reaches 140 degrees, I'm going to turn the oven up to a lower temperature, maybe 400, I don't know, maybe 375, but certainly no more than that. And we're going to keep it there in order to crisp the skin as we push for the final I'm going to cook it to about 155 degrees so that we can take it out of the oven and then allow carryover cooking to take it up over 160. And that's my plan there. All right, let me see. So far, that temperature is still at 39 degrees, so that's a good sign. So at the moment at least, it does not look like that thermometer is heating up too fast. Okay, giving it away. All right, let me see here. Checking my prize will be delivered tomorrow. And again, I'm glad to hear that Fuzz Fork 8. I'm glad to hear that they've re-estimated it to being delivered tomorrow. Breast side down, cover in. Oh, this is Corey Clark. Breast side down, cover in foil, cook at 350. The last 45 minutes, put it breast side up and leave it uncovered to brown the skin. That's how I do it, and the meat is very moist. That is certainly a good way to cook it, Corey. As I said, you can indeed cook your turkey any way you want. The one concern I've had, as I've said already too many times tonight, is not to overcook it to the point where it dries out. I mean, if you've got enough expertise that you can cook it without a thermometer, well, again, obviously you know your oven, which is good. Me, as I said already, this is essentially my first time roasting a turkey in my gas oven. So I do indeed have a learning curve. As I found out when I burned the skin last week. So I'm making another attempt right now. I've learned my lesson from last week, I hope. Cynthia Wesley, nobody trying to claim on my 14 lodge. Too much for them. Well, that's good. Does that mean that when you pass on, they're going to bury you with it? I wouldn't be surprised if they bury me with my cast iron. Okay, I like Stumpy, but maybe put a number 16 on the Christmas list. Oh, yeah, I've seen those number 16 skillets. In fact, I actually held one of them in my hands several years ago at an antique mall in Virginia. I presume, Connie Badger, you're probably talking about that unknown number 16 skillet. Granted, I know Lodge does have a 17-inch skillet, with dual handles. But but yeah, and anyway, considering that I'm about to cook a 23-pound turkey, maybe I should consider it. However, those of you who know the cast iron treasure hunt, you probably know about the mysterious number 16 cast iron skillet that has shown up on Facebook and on eBay from time to time. That thing is a real monster. As I said, I held that in my hands myself once at an antique mall, and I think that thing must have weighed almost 30 pounds by itself. And over the last few years, they finally did discover the identity of that number 16 skillet. It's no longer an unknown skillet. And I don't remember the name of the foundry that was made it. I think it was called Southern Castings or something like that. But they actually found one of those number 16 skillets that actually had the manufacturer's name inscribed on the bottom. So that also cancels out the rumor that it was a prison skillet, one of those ones made by prison workers. So yes, some cast iron pans were made by prison workers, but as it turns out, the number 16 was not. And I know there's even a number 20 skillet out there, and I've seen a few people manage to score one of those as well. No wrong way to make a tasty bird, says Val. And yes, that's exactly the point. It is almost impossible to screw up a turkey, even though I did last week. As long as you're careful, as long as you know your oven, then again, you can do what you want. You can cook your turkey in a Dutch oven. You can roast it in a cast iron skillet. You can roast it in on an aluminum sheet pan. You can even do a trash can turkey. I'm sure you folks have seen videos of the trash can turkey where they just simply put the turkey under a trash can and then cover the whole trash can with coals and just let it roast that way until it's done. In all of those instances, guess what? You know what makes it work? They cook it to the right temperature. That's what. You can make it sous vide, which is how you should do it. Yeah, boy, I can imagine a sous vide big enough to fit a 25-pound turkey, though, Brody. I mean, most of those sous vides only seem to be what, maybe a couple of quarts or so in size. So there is a limit to that. Anyway, sous vide, one thing it does not do is actually crisp the skin or roast the skin. So if you were going to sous vide your turkey, you could still do that if you can get it to fit. Then I would advise doing something similar to what I'm doing now. Namely with the sous vide, roast it to like maybe 140 or so, and then put it in a hot pan and and then give it a blast of heat, like maybe 400 degrees or so, for the last 15 degrees so that you get yourself a nice brown and crispy skin as well as a turkey that's at the right temperature. Cynthia Wesley, I made pizza maybe twice. By that time, it was time to eat the pizza. I was too exhausted to eat it. Shit. Okay, mine, he'll never use it, and he sure ain't no collector. Okay. Rick Stumbo, give it in your will. Oh, give that lodge to your in your will to one bear, then you can look down on them and laugh your butt off. Yeah, oh, I see. I want someone to make a number 16 chicken fryer. The best I could say for that would be maybe a number 16 Dutch oven, which I actually have, which is an Asian made Bayou Classic 16 quart Dutch oven. And I have made Thanksgiving turkeys in that, in fact. When I first started out in this, like about 10 years or so, I tried all kinds of different things for making a turkey in cast iron. For at least the first couple of years, I did indeed roast my turkey in that huge Bayou Classic Dutch oven. And guess what? It still turned out good. Hmm. Do folks still deep fry turkeys? It's been a while since I've seen ones of overflowing burning oil or garage fires. I'm sure if you look around, Kevin Brown, you could probably still find them. I mean, stupidity never dies. So there will still be somebody who tries to deep fry a turkey and they end up burning down their garage or their house. Actually, if nobody does that, that's good. I mean, we would rather they not do it. But hey, if they do, well, then you get some more YouTube entertainment. And then, of course, there was Alton Brown's episode of Good Eats where he deep fried a turkey. And that would really, if you're going to deep fry your turkey, I might consider that to be a must watch. I did sucker a cousin to take the big, large Dutch oven, and he loves it. Oh, I don't doubt that. We do a lot of fried turkeys here in Louisiana. We would commonly cook several different things in a big clay flower pot sitting in a campfire. All of that sounds fine. I've made lots of pan pizzas in my square skillet. It's just the right size for the two of us. Oh, that all sounds good too, Radagast. Okay. Meanwhile, while I've been waiting here, I do believe, this thing has already jumped to 45 degrees. I'm still not convinced that I correctly inserted that probe into the turkey. I think I might have inserted it wrong. So let me fix that while we can. Take it out here. Try putting it right about there. And let's see what happens. All right. Well, I just saw that thing go down from 46 to 45 for whatever it's worth. And now it's going down again to 43. So yeah, I think I did indeed incorrectly insert that probe. But now that we've adjusted it, hopefully it's getting to a more accurate temperature. Okay, turkey was 1, beef or pork ribs, and barbecue. Okay, all right. Now that we've done that, let's go on and let's play with a little bit more cast iron, shall we? That means I've got to get one more thing out of the fridge. Ugh. Here we are. Here is where we get into the next part of essential preparations for Thanksgiving, and that would be the giblet gravy. And here are the giblets. So yay! Okay, as I said, I have been heating up. Here is one of my other favorite cast iron pans that I've used several times. Here is a Birmingham Stove and Range. Let me get that microphone over here. Here is a Birmingham Stove and Range Red Mountain Sportsman fish fryer. You know, with the angled handles and everything. And you know, this thing is actually pretty easy to find. And I mean, I know sometimes it's hard to believe, but these things are still not too difficult to find at and in antique malls and on eBay and all the rest. Of course, on eBay, especially since these days they are identifying BSNR, this thing will probably be overpriced, and I would not be surprised if you cannot find this on eBay for under $100. But it is still indeed possible to come across one of these for at a decent price, only because there seem to be a lot of them running around. Okay, but the bell, no logo on my 14. Oh, no logo on your 14. Okay, well, that probably decreases the collector's value, but hopefully that means you got it at a good bargain yourself, Cynthia. Turkey was one, beef or pork ribs or barbecue. The big clay pot was his thing. Okay. All right. Yay. He didn't leave the giblets in the bird. No, I've learned that much. Yes. I know a lot of people do actually make that mistake. They just cook the turkey as is and leave all of the inserts in it, like the giblet bag and the plastic pieces and that pop-up thingy and all that. No. I've learned that much at least. I may be stupid, but I'm not dumb. However, what I do need to do is get out my oil, or at least a little bit of it. And furthermore, it looks like I forgot my spatula, well, which is right over here at least. All right, because it's time now to start with the first thing we need to do is sear up the giblets. We don't need a lot of oil. That's probably more than enough, in fact. Come on, let's put this away. Okay, because as I said, now it's time to get down to number 2 here. In fact, I think I may have to just simply do this. There we go. That's a little better. All right. Now that we've wasted enough time, let us start by searing us up some giblets. And that also means this thing. Come on, there we go. Yummy, yummy turkey giblets. Oh dear. Okay, careful there. Don't want this thing to stick. Oh, that's not so bad. All we're really doing is searing this thing anyway, because we are, of course, putting in the base to get ourselves a gravy, and that just means we need to just that, make some fond. So yeah, here's the heart, liver, kidneys, I think, and the neck. And sometimes I've actually just boiled these giblets, but I mean, of course, you want to start out by searing it because, again, you've got the Maillard effect to put a little bit of flavor into this. Hey, to Papa and Cindy. Yes, hello, Papa, Dan as well. Cook the giblets separately to feed the cat. We used to give them to the dog. All right, something going on here. Okay. Yeah. Do that. Okay. I don't know what all the fuss is about giblets. Well, for a lot of people, it's really the ew effect more than anything else. It's like people find people find it ew, that's gross because it's not something they normally eat. I mean, on the other hand, I will say that there are certain parts that I'm not too crazy about either. Like, for instance, kidney. Yeah, I've tried making beef kidney, and no, I really could not stomach it either. Most things I've eaten, I do have to say I've ended up enjoying one way or another. I like chicken hearts, for instance. But just the fact that these are giblets, really, more than anything else, is why a lot of people tend to turn their noses up. So one thing you could do is make the gravy in advance before your guests arrive. Anyway, all we're trying to do is get some good fond on here as it is. And that does not look like it's going to take very long because we got ourselves a nice cast iron pan. And this is one reason why I love this fish fryer here. What this thing essentially is a very long skillet. I mean, you can do everything in this that you can do with a round cast iron skillet, except that you have more room. You do have a somewhat cooler spot in the center, admittedly. But even so, you have plenty of room here to make us some gravy. All right, listen to the undercover southerner. At this point, meanwhile, the temperature of the turkey has gone up to 48 degrees, so I think we're doing okay there. I could always double check it with another probe thermometer if I have to. And while we're waiting here, giblets are great seasoning for gravy. Furthermore, all chicken giblets cook up just fine for me, said William Hurt. Hog Wild Cast Iron Restoration. Hey, hope all is well. Had to take a detour and stay in Memphis tonight. Well, that's good. And good luck on the hunt tomorrow then. Tomorrow's Thursday, so it's not a weekend. So hopefully, you'll be able to find some bargains in that case. Memphis, huh? I've only driven through Memphis once. I have absolutely no experience with the actual antique market out there. But if it's anything like the rest of Tennessee, then here's hoping you do well. All right, Corey, I think you must have a cast iron stomach. So I've been told, Corey. Radagast, you ever make gizzard soup? Oh, yeah. Well, hey, when the zombie apocalypse comes, I mean, you'll certainly have plenty to eat. All right, we're probably already done here, just because all we needed to do was to sear these and to make some fond to go into this pan. So means I better dig out why not? Ugh. I have this metal dish that I was using for the turkey. Might as well get these things into there. because we're going to be discarding them anyway. All right. Come on. Come on. Got it. Now we'll get these things out of the way. Turn down the heat a little bit. I don't want to burn this. And I better go and dig up 2 things here. Good. And that is, of course, butter and flour. Because how can you not have gravy without it? All right. Also means got to dig up a butter knife. Here we are. Okay, now that we've gotten that part, now comes the fun part. That means I should also, here it is, break out the whisk. Because again, I don't want to burn this. On the other hand, I do want liquid to be able, there we go, start with the roux. Because first you got to make a roux. Well, first you got to melt the butter. And then once we do that, throw in a little bit of flour. Here we go again. Try not to get too much flour in, shall we? There we go. That's not too much. Time to start whisking it together and making this roux happen. I should probably turn down the heat even more. Cast iron can get really hot. How about that? I think I've learned that lesson at least. And the fun part about this is that once this gravy is done, it's not really going to be done because we'll be able to mix this with the pan juices from the turkey when that's done. And now that we've done that, time to start throwing in some chicken stock. And get this gravy going. Yeah, it's definitely hot, that's for sure. Oof, that's hot. I can feel that. Don't want to burn it. At this point, I have the temperature on this just turned down to only 3. So yeah, this cast iron pan definitely can get hot, that's for sure. Let's look this up here a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. Thanks. Usually I seem to add too much flour. This time I'm wondering if I added enough, because I'm not so sure if this is thickened enough. So, better add just a little bit more flour, not too much. There we go. As I do want enough to be able to make a fair amount of gravy. Well, this isn't looking too bad now. This is looking better. Now I can definitely start adding the stock in earnest. In fact, now I can even turn the heat up a little bit. Going from one extreme to the other, it seems like. Okay, there we go. Now it's definitely thickening up. Now we're starting to get into a real gravy base. While we're at it, my dad went rabbit hunting when I was around, and when it got cooked, he told me it was Peter Rabbit. Shit. Excuse me, I was about to sneeze. Okay. Your voice is a tenor. I have not sang since I was in the junior high school choir before my voice broke. That's probably all for the best. Because the times I have sung to myself, I really have not been able to hold a tune. Instead, I would rather let the cast iron sing, as you can hear now. All right, looks like the liquid keeps going from one end to the other. Of course, the thing about cast iron is it tends to make a very thick gravy anyway. And even when you get to the right consistency, you've got to be careful that it doesn't thicken some more. I mean, right now, I may have added a little too much liquid. This may be looking a little too thin. But I have no doubt that it is going to reduce and thicken some more. Especially if I do this. I did adjust my oven once, although it's been like a year, maybe even almost 2 years. I should probably take a closer look at that. Meanwhile, the turkey at this point is at 59 degrees. I know for a fact this turkey is not going to be done in time for this live to finish. We are already past 9 o'clock, but okay. Actually, I don't think I've talked enough about it yet. I've talked a lot about cooking to temperature, but again, with the turkey, as I said, I mean, you could really use just about every tip and trick you want. One second, I think I've actually got a call coming in. Sorry, one moment. Hello. Yeah, I'm still in the middle of the live, I'm afraid, but yeah, I've got a feeling why. But okay, I'll call you once this is done. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, sorry about that interruption, folks. However, I noticed that, as I said, this gravy is indeed starting to thicken. But yeah, again, regarding all the tips and tricks, I mean, as I said, just about any one will work. Whether it's flipping the bird, as you said, yeah, flipping the bird, ha ha ha, cooking it, cooking it breast side down at 350, and then turning it over to crisp the skin, or whether you use a herb butter like I did just now, or whether you use a dry rub, which I've also done and have had success with. I mean, there's so many ways to cook your turkey, and really, that, as I said, is one thing that I've learned is that cooking a turkey is actually pretty easy to do, and really, that's quite frankly is nothing to be worried about. There's all this hype, of course, over the fact that this is in fact your Thanksgiving turkey. The most important bird of the year, and your whole family is going to be watching, and all that. So naturally, there's a lot of pushing to say, hey, here, use this method to cook the perfect turkey. When in fact, the nice thing about it is that turkey is a very, very forgiving bird. It's easy to cook. And as long as you cook it to the right temperature, yes, I've said it again, you are pretty much guaranteed to get yourself a bird, a turkey that your family should be proud of. This is looking like a pretty decent gravy at this point, if you ask me. Okay, that means we've got turn off the gravy, cover it, and hold until the bird is done. There is that. I should indeed do that. Let's turn off this heat here because yes, once the bird comes out of the oven, I'll be able to mix the pan juices into it. This gravy is definitely not done because we can indeed mix a lot of extra fond into it. However, if nothing else, at least we certainly have a base for the gravy. So yes, I will agree there, Val. That's actually a very good suggestion. And if nothing else, this means we're going to have a little bit more gravy when it's all done too. Okay, please consider wood or bamboo utensils when you cook on video. Shit. Okay, I get the idea. VL triple X. Okay. Yeah. Loves the sound of a good metal spatula on cast iron. Okay, I can see it's like we've got some who love it and some who hate it. Well, okay, I'm sorry. I did not mean to cause this kind of a controversy, folks. All right, when your gravy cools, it will thicken. There is that too. But as Val said, this gravy is not going to be finished. Is not finished yet. We'll be able to mix in the juices, the pan juices from when the turkey is finished, and at that point, then we'll definitely be able to get ourselves a much better gravy. So we're not done yet. Hello, Ongo Gablogian. I work in food safety. Everyone should take a look at Appendix A from the USDA. You don't have to hit 165 to have a safe turkey. You are correct. I've actually been following that rule for quite a while. The truth is just that 165 is the temperature that instantly kills bacteria, so that you're guaranteed to have a safe turkey. However, if you have the turkey even as low as 150 degrees, all you have to do is let it rest and remain at that temperature for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. and that will still kill all of the bacteria and give you a safe turkey. Unfortunately, the turkey is so thick and so heavy. That's why we have carryover cooking, so that for the next few minutes, the turkey's temperature is not going to go down. It's actually going to go up a few degrees. And that's why, indeed, I take my turkey normally to 155 degrees. Or if folks are concerned about that, maybe I might take it to 158. And then, as he said there, you can put the turkey over to rest, cover it with foil and let the carryover cooking keep on cooking that bird for another few degrees or so, while at that point the bacteria are taken care of. So yes, that's right. This is something that they published several years ago. I know, of course, on the other hand, folks have some trouble getting used to this, largely because, well, we get into things about don't trust the government. But there's really no reason not to take this as a good piece of advice, because it's sound advice. It's backed by science, and there's no bias in this. It's not like they're trying to kill you or trying to convince you to buy some product or another. So in that respect, I would indeed accept that as decent advice. Namely, that just that you don't have to cook your turkey all the way to 165, especially since 165 is the point where the breast meat starts to dry out. And then we start worrying about getting a dry and flaky white meat. So rather than that, as I said, I cook my turkey to 155 and then cover it with foil and let it rest that way, so that we still have good, juicy, and tender white meat. And furthermore, what else are we going to be doing? We are going to be covering that meat with hot gravy. Okay, colleges do the studies, not the government. Yeah, that's another thing too. Exactly. Many of these studies, in fact, are not just done by the government, and not just these ones. There are a lot of ones that are done worldwide by many different countries, by many different associations, including colleges, including medical universities, and other reasonably unbiased biased places. I mean, I suppose you could say that no place is completely unbiased. But I mean, if you've got the studies being done worldwide and all coming up with the same results, it's pretty fair to assume that they are unbiased, or at least the general results, can be considered to be accurate. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I hate conspiracy theorists, and I do not believe there is any kind of a worldwide conspiracy to cover up really anything, because you can't have a conspiracy that big. That, though, might be getting into another subject. Okay, I do need some dental work on New Year's. Well, best of luck to that, Cynthia. Val's Black. When you pull the bird from the pan, drain all the pan juices into a bowl and let it separate the grease. Scoop off the grease. Exactly. And then from there, you've got a whole lot more pan juices to mix in with this gravy base. I'm only calling this a gravy base. I'm not even calling it a finished gravy. No spam on Thanksgiving. I'll get to cook a few things and send them with my wife to the in-laws. Well, that all sounds good too. I stuffed the turkey with oyster stuffing. Yes. I am a born and bred New Englander, so I traditionally use bread stuffing. Although I've lately been using cornbread stuffing as well. But I mean, I still need to practice on my cornbread stuffing too. Tell me you ain't having spam on Thanksgiving. Oh, that's what you're talking about. On the other hand, I mean, if you're gonna have ham on Thanksgiving, then you could certainly do so because it's your table. Here's a confession. In the years before I learned how to cook, in my previous life, we cheated on Thanksgiving. We ordered Chinese takeout. Yes, we did. For several years, we ordered Chinese takeout on Thanksgiving because, well, Well, number one, we didn't know how to cook. Number two, it wasn't that expensive. Number three, there was no effort involved with it. So you just ordered a nice big Chinese takeout, poo poo platter, and all your favorite things, and then hey, it was tasty. I mean, we enjoyed ourselves, and that means really we had a day to relax. I mean, you can really do whatever you want on Thanksgiving. I'm cooking this turkey here because it's fun. It's delicious, yes, but it's fun to make all of these dishes. At least I find them fun. And if it's really too much of a chore to do all this stuff on Thanksgiving, well, you better find a way to fix that because this should be fun. I mean, whether if that means you just go and order a pre-made Thanksgiving dinner from your local supermarket or order Chinese or do something else, it would be better to enjoy yourself on Thanksgiving. I mean, it is a lot of work, yes, to prepare all of this stuff in cast iron, but the end results are worth it. At least to me they are. I enjoy myself immensely, and that's really about the best reason to enjoy it more than anything else. Hog Wild. The best turkey I ever cooked was smoked for 6 hours, and I had a ham on the rack above it. The ham juices basted the turkey, and it was delicious. And oh, that all sounds fantastic. My mouth is watering already. Cynthia, we do cornbread dressing here in the South, or further south, rice dressing. Radagast, when I was in Maine, I dug little neck clams and put them in the stuffing. All of these sound great. My wife makes an awesome VL triple X. My wife makes an awesome cornbread dressing, but every man in Alabama can say that. Well, I would hope so. Remember, we are now with a generation that grew up not knowing how to cook, and I was one of them. I already made that confession enough times that I only learned how to cook back in uh, fall of 2010. So I've only been cooking for 14 years. That means for more than two-thirds of my life still, I could tell you that I did not know how to cook to save my life, and I was hardly the only one. Yeah, so we just went, of course, to our grandparents for Thanksgiving. They're the ones who did all the work. Fortunately, things have changed now, and well, like I said, I enjoy cooking, and I think that's really maybe one reason why I do these YouTube videos because again, it gives me an excuse to have fun cooking in cast iron, and hopefully, I'm hoping, yeah, I do hope it does inspire somebody to try doing this as well. Okay, I grew up at MU Morris Apron. Mom, oh, I grew up at my mom's apron strings. Well, that's good too. That's a good while. You've come a long way. Well, I certainly hope so, Cynthia. That's about the best I can say. All my traditions stopped when I lost my parents. Now we go to Branson. My condolences, Corey Clark. Of course, you could always start new traditions. Get together with your family, whether it's your kids or relatives or friends or the like, and have a Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, you don't even have to do all the cooking. Everybody can get together and maybe have a potluck Thanksgiving. 4th of July is boring, and we changed our tradition to meatloaf, mashed potatoes, green beans, and rolls or cornbread. That all sounds good too. Okay, but anyway, the point is now at this point, the turkey has once again made it to 75 degrees, even though it's barely been in the oven. It hasn't even been in the oven for almost an hour. So I think I'm going to check that probe one more time. I mean, it's not like a cake. It's not like the turkey is going to fall if I do this. So let's bring this out right now. Doesn't look too bad for a starter, but let's try reinserting this one more time. Yeah. And let's see what happens. This thing went from 82 degrees to 81 to 79. and 77. You know, if it goes back again to about 75, well, that's still good. Then that means actually we're still making some good progress. So all things considered, it sounds like this bird could very well hit 140 degrees probably within the next hour or so. And then from there, as I said, what I will do then is I will give this bird, I will turn up the oven temperature. I don't even have to take it out of the oven. I will turn up the oven temperature. I'm thinking 400. And then just from there, let it go until until the breast meat reaches 155 degrees. And then we've got a turkey. That's how easy it is. And which is why I am indeed encouraging folks. I'll say it yet again. Get yourself a cooking thermometer because it takes out all the guesswork. You just simply, as you can see, all I did was I smeared the turkey with an herb butter. You could use a dry rub if you want. I stabbed it with that thermometer, put it in the oven. It's slow cooking at 275 degrees. And all I have to do is cook it until the oven reaches the temperature that I want. And I want it to be 140 degrees. Then, like I said, I'll blast it and turn it up there and keep it there until it reaches 155 degrees and the turkey is done. There's really very little effort involved, and that's good because that means on Thanksgiving, well, then you can concentrate on all the other stuff. The mashed potatoes, the green bean casseroles, the cranberry sauce, the pies. Although the pies I make the night before. In fact, that is going to be what we're doing next week on Cast Iron Wednesday, preparing my pies for Thanksgiving. I usually do a pumpkin pie and an apple pie. And then from there, oh yeah, all of these what can I say? It's a lot of fun. And I'm very glad to be able to do this and share this with you folks. Okay. Okay. I church it up and call Mogan David. All right. We're getting on to about that time here anyway. And besides, as I said, at this point, all we can really do is wait until the turkey comes out of the oven, and that thermometer is still at 77. So once again, I think it is properly inserted, and I don't think I'm going to have to touch it until it reaches the right temperature. Okay. Louis does it too. All right, pumpkin. Yes, exactly. Pumpkin pie. We've got a pumpkin pie to make next week. And next week, as well, as I said, I usually do a pumpkin pie and an apple pie, and that's certainly giving me something to look forward to on Cast Iron Wednesday. However, there's something else, folks. I've mentioned this a couple of times, but here's a reminder. You know what this coming Sunday is? Stir Up Sunday. Yep, that means it's time to start preparing the Christmas pudding or the Christmas fruitcake or the Christmas whatever that thing is you make for Christmas. Traditionally, it's supposed to be, what is it, like 5 Sundays before Christmas or something like that. And of course, the whole tradition of Stir Up Sunday is because traditionally, at least in British church services, on this particular Sunday, the priest would always give this same sermon that has this phrase to stir up something. I don't even know what the words are. But the point is, it's time. The holidays are upon us, like it or not, and this Sunday is Stir Up Sunday. So that means start soaking your dried fruit in wine. Prepare your candied citrus peels. If you use it, get those horrid radioactive cherry blobs from the stores and prepare yourselves a pudding and a fruitcake and whatever you want to make for Christmas. And then best of all, you get to soak it all in rum and let it ferment until Christmas. That's probably the best part. Because yes, it is that time. The holidays are here. Radagast, I've been making 2 pumpkin pies for over 30 years. This year I'll be making a pumpkin pie and an apple pie. Now, that all sounds great. Love to see a recipe for pumpkin pie. So would I, for that matter. And thank you as well to Val's Black Cats Rules. Yeah, I mean, again, as I've said enough times, I enjoy doing all this with you folks here. I mean, having you folks really is an incentive for me to just go all out and just have a lot of fun here. And I certainly hope this has been. If nothing else, it's a demonstration of how easy it is to cook a turkey. I'm not even going to say it again. Cook to temperature. The point is, it's just that it's easy to make. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's almost impossible to screw up a turkey. This time I'm making sure I don't by not heating my oven up to that temperature that I used last week. As I said, this is my first turkey, well now my second whole turkey in my gas oven. And so I'm just going through the learning curve, and here's hoping that in about an hour or so I'm going to have a turkey that I'm going to enjoy. Okay, and thank you as well to Rick Stumbow, as well as to Fuzz Fork 8 and Rocket Caver and Val's Black Cats Rules and Cynthia Wesley and everybody else. Thank you very much for coming into my kitchen tonight. I really enjoy having you folks here for company because we do this every Wednesday, as you know, and as well to VL Triple X. I'm looking forward to eggnog. Oh yes, that's the other thing. Make your own eggnog. And because once you've made homemade eggnog, you'll never be satisfied with that stuff from the store ever again. And yeah, there are two ways to make eggnog. One is the way where you temper the eggs and overheat and everything else. And there's another way that actually uses raw eggs and a lot of liquor. So, and I've done them both, and they're both delicious. So, and what's more, the one using the raw eggs just involves a lot of stirring more than anything else. So it's also that easy to make. Okay, spiral potatoes. Yeah, we still need to do the spiral potatoes, I know. And I'm going to do them, well, as soon as I can. And thank you as well to William Hurt. A shot of the turkey out of the oven. Do a short on the turkey out of the oven. Oh, definitely, because I'm hoping that I don't screw this one up, and I want to be sure of that. And homemade eggnog is so good. Yes, it is. And the chocolate silk pie, because yes, indeed, it's 1 week from tomorrow, folks. The last Thursday of the month, Thanksgiving. So let's all look forward to it, because of course we start prepping for it this coming weekend. Do food shopping, start thawing out the turkey and other fun things like that. And the best I could say, I think more than anything else, is let's calm down, relax, and have fun. Okay, and having said that, I think we are about ready to get going here, because yeah, actually have a call to make. I mean, I got a call during the live, and now I've got to follow up on that. Raw eggnog with bourbon is a pretty weird buzz. Yes, it is, but not a bad one. And banana pudding with vanilla wafers on top. Oh man, this all sounds good. And it's really helping me to look forward to next week as well. And so, to that, I think we are going to call this one a night. And as I said, get ready for the weekend and get ready for Stir Up Sunday and get ready for next week, where again, I'll be preparing the pies for Thanksgiving, as I'm sure a lot of other people will as well. So, I can only say, as always, see you next Wednesday.